Entertainment, I'm Rachel Smith. Kourtney Kardashian is telling fans she had to have emergency surgery to save her unborn child. She posted the news on Instagram. It was a picture of her holding her husband Travis Barker's hand in what appears to be a hospital bed. Kardashian says she wasn't prepared for the fear of rushing into urgent fetal surgery. She said she's forever grateful to the doctors who saved their baby's life. The 44-year-old reality star announced her pregnancy in June. They're expecting a baby boy. It's their first child together. Kardashian is already a mom to 3. Well, rock and roll icon Bruce Springsteen is putting down his guitar for the month of September as he deals with some health issues. The 73-year-old says he is dealing with a gastrointestinal condition. Springsteen and his E Street Band had 8 remaining concerts scheduled through the end of this month. Springsteen canceled 2 shows last month due to illness, but he is still selling out stadiums. The E Street Band last played at MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey. Well, actor Colman Domingo is being honored at this year's Toronto Film Festival, which just got underway, with this year's TIFF Tribute Performer Award. He joins fellow actors Jessica Chastain, Benedict Cumberbatch, and Kate Winslet. Now, Colman started his acting career 30 years ago and has become one of the most celebrated actors in all of Hollywood. His dedication to providing visibility is evident in his work and the roles he chooses. Domingo will be seen at the film festival for his new movie, Sing Sing, which is based on the real-life arts rehabilitation program at the Sing Sing Correctional Facility in New York. Well, Minx is making its way through season 2, and the series does a great job of celebrating queer women. And by celebrating, that means everything from desires, faults, and everything in between. The Advocate Channel's Tracy E. Gilchrist has more with stars Lennon Parham and Jessica Lowe.
Congratulations on Minx season 2. It's really terrific.
Thank you.
Yes. And I want to start by asking you, Jessica, a little bit about what it means to you to be a part of this project that really centers female sexual agency and desire and sexual fluidity. It's really very forward thinking. Would you talk a little bit about that?
I mean, it's been a role that I've really relished playing. I think that it's unusual for a woman to feel so empowered sexually and physically, and it's something that I, as an actor, haven't felt. It just feeling that power is kind of fantastic. And yeah, exploring. I don't know. I think she is very open to all sorts of love, and I think that is the truth for many people. And so it's been so fun to play.
It feels nice to be loved by Bambi, I think, right? Like very like, it's just like a safe space, no judgments, like however you show up is great.
Well, you two are terrific together. Your energy and chemistry is great on screen.
Thank you.
Yes. And Lennon, that brings me to Shelley's journey this season,
Yes.
which was quite an arc. And I don't know what I can say about it, but she is on this journey of self-discovery, particularly around her desires. And would you speak to that?
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, I think at the end of season 1, there was an awakening that happened that really terrified her. In 1972, I think it could have meant the end of a lot of things that she cares about if she kind of believes this to be true about herself. So she shut it down. She shut the relationship down with Bambi. She stopped working at Bottom Dollar and she recommits to this relationship with her husband out of fear, I think. And so when Ellen pitched me through season 2 and the arc that Shelley was going to go on, I was like, that's all happening in one season. Like that's like a lifetime journey for some people. But I was excited, and honored to play it as well, because it, I think we can all understand the feeling of searching for who we truly are, and that was certainly true for Shelley. And she really tries all the different heteronormative ways to spice it up. And, it's not really working. And then I think when she realizes that the relationship that she has with Bambi is maybe even hurting Bambi, to kind of string that along, that they both kind of, say that they need to cut it free.
Yeah.
And then she ends up meeting someone who maybe is an actual, I don't know what we're allowed to say, but is actually a potential partner, an equal for her. So yeah, that's exciting.
Yes, well, thank you for that. And Jessica, you have this really beautiful scene with Oscar where Bambi and Richie are high, but they're also playing dress up and, playing with gender fluidity and exploration. Would you talk about shooting that scene?
Well,
it was
like
day.
getting the gang back together because we had so much to do first season, and then we're sort of like ships in the night this season. And so it was really fun to play with Oscar again and get Bamchi back together. I love him so endlessly. And so just telling him this effusive praise in the mirror was just really fun and honestly felt very genuine.
Yeah.
Because I just love that guy.
You do feel that way about Oscar in real life. Yeah.
Heidi Bosch-Herod is Executive Director of Women's Voices Now. The organization harnesses the power of film to help drive positive social change for women and girls around the world. And they're now highlighting a documentary called With This Breath I Fly, about two Afghan women's 10-year fight for their freedom. And Bosch-Herod tells our Tracy E. Gilchrist that the very funds supposed to protect Afghan women ended up hurting them.
There's so much drama behind this film. Not only did it take 10 years, which was really the way to really follow and understand the deep complexities in humanitarian aid that went into Afghanistan for 2 decades. But there's also a backstory where the European Union actually, once they saw a rough cut of the film, threatened, well, they did. They cut the funding and said, you're not allowed, we want all the footage, you can't show this film, because it showed how funds from the EU that were supposed to be promoting women's rights and women's agency were actually working against them and feeding into the very systems that continue to keep women from being free in Afghanistan. And before you want to throw the entire European Union under the bus, it's, the film does very good to show, again, like just the complexities, again, of this kind of work where, we have these ideas of going in to save a place, or we know the right way because we come from a more advanced part of the world, and we just don't know what we're doing there. So the film does this really incredible job of following the journey of these women, showing how they are very much within their systems, right? You can't just, the idea of like liberating a woman is a very problematic one, right? Because a woman who is fighting for her rights still needs to have a sense of belonging to her community. And if those rights are perceived as anti-community, then she will not have a place anymore in her home. And then what is her option? There's no, especially now, there's no path for, even education or employment in Afghanistan. So it really, I think the 10 years shows all the things that these women went through in their journeys back and forth, and how there are so many competing forces within Afghanistan, where it was taken to the highest level of government, and there was a call for one of these women to be taken out of prison, that it wasn't her fault, but then even her own family was against her, and the shelter was trying to send her back to her husband. There's so many strings in this story. So it was very complex, and the filmmakers, they really, at one point, they're still trying to pay back all the crew and the funds that were expended on this film, because once the funding was cut by the EU, it turned into just a passion project, because they made a promise to these women that if nothing else, they would make sure their stories were heard, because that was the ask of them for going through all of this process and just sort of putting their whole lives in a film. So it's a really powerful one. It's painful, powerful, and it makes us ask some pretty hard questions at the end too, especially because this film was made before the Taliban took over. Now they have taken over, and we read the news of what's happening there every day.
Well, the auction of singer Freddie Mercury's belongings has made more than $15 million. It took Sotheby's more than 4.5 hours to sell nearly 60 items. Now, the items were all owned by the former Queen frontman. The piano Mercury used to compose many of his hits sold for $2.2 million. And the silver snake bangle he wore in the Bohemian Rhapsody video went for almost $900,000, and its original cost was just $9,000. And a manuscript of lyrics thought to be worth about $1 million went for 1.7. There are still hundreds of items for fans to buy. Those are expected to be offered in upcoming auctions. Well, you can watch the Advocate channel live by downloading our app in the Apple or Google Play Store. You can also subscribe to our YouTube page. For the Advocate channel today, I'm Rachel Smith. Take care.